Okay, real quick, this is not even the video, but Trisha Paytas just uploaded this video like an hour or two ago. Well, I don't know when you're seeing this, but this is very new, so I am going to summarize this video, and she claims this is the video where this is the at peace video and there's not going to be any more of this. So she claims. I will leave timestamps below just in case you do want to watch the video that she just uploaded, but it makes more sense just to watch it through and you'll see why. Now let's get back to the video. Hey guys, what is up? So, oh my goodness, I definitely needed to take some days off to really watch the encyclopedia of videos that Trisha Paytas posted and to watch Ethan Klein's video on the whole drama. Before I get into this video, I'm going to summarize everything for you so you don't have to sit and watch a 40-minute of just encyclopedia videos. I want this to be in your head the whole entire time. There was not a goddamn contract. There was no contract, which is mind-blowing, very disappointing. You would think, you know, Ethan Klein, frenemies, the people who brought down the vlog squad, complained how David Dobrik was being unprofessional, should have had people, did not have a contract. Anyways, keep that in mind. And I'm going to start off with summarizing Ethan's video. So Ethan starts off by saying how he loves Trisha like a friend and blah blah blah, but his hand was forced with all the tweets that she was putting out, so he felt like he needed to make this video, and plus all the text messages, private text messages that Trisha put out on Twitter. Now Ethan claims these two came to terms, him and Trisha came to terms that they were able to, where Trisha was able to hire on an extra person just to produce frenemies, just to really run with Trisha's like fun and extravagant ideas, because Trisha would throw out ideas according to Ethan, and that's all she would do. That was the extent, just throw out the ideas and not really carry it out. So after this conversation, Ethan tells Trisha, hey, you can hire someone, but we're not going to film the vlog the next day just because the crew, they were kind of upset with you because you didn't like the segment. Now, Ethan says it doesn't really matter who came up with the fan advice segment. He goes back to this and says it was just really disrespectful for Trisha to shit on the idea, knowing that, you know, there's a crew of people that help make the show happen. So little did we know, Ethan had told the crew that Trisha wanted to fire them. And so Ethan ended up telling Trisha, hey, you know, let's not film the frenemies vlog because the crew's upset with you because of the segment. But really, the crew was just kind of, they were willing to film, but the crew was just hurt because Ethan told them that, you know, Trisha wanted to fire them. So Trisha took that as, oh my gosh, well, if the crew's upset with me, maybe I should just end it here and not even, you know, film anymore. Trisha being dramatic, you know, can't take like a rejection for a bit, you know, just like, oh my gosh, I must end the whole entire show now. Now, Ethan says this is the part where he messed up because he should have never told the crew that Trisha wanted to fire them. But also what was very interesting about Ethan's video is that he does address that it was his mistake. He thought the crew was upset with Trisha because of the segment, but no, the crew was upset with Trisha because of what Ethan said. So he definitely addresses that and says, it was my mistake, I misunderstood. Now, Ethan says that, you know, after his conversation with Trisha, how she could hire on another producer for the show or someone to help out. And after he told her that, hey, we're not going to film for the vlog the next day, we're just going to stay low for a few days. The very next day, she uploaded a video saying that she was quitting frenemies. He said he did not get a warning. He had no idea that she was going to do this. According to Ethan, after Trisha uploaded this video, he did message her later saying that was really unfair of you to do, to put the video out. He texted her trying to resolve the issue offline. Ethan says, as a response, instead of responding to him, Trisha decided to ignore his texts and upload another 20-minute video. When I watched Trisha's video, she says that that's not what happened and how she turned off her phone and ended up making another video anyways, so who knows. Ethan says that Trisha couldn't even meet him halfway. So they were supposed to, you know, move frenemies to an LA location. Trisha also felt uncomfortable showing up to Ethan's house to film. So basically, from what I'm gathering, is that Trisha, she did want a different location for frenemies, but she didn't want it to be in downtown LA or at Ethan's house. Now, Ethan addresses that he was very upset with Trisha for throwing out all of their private DMs out on Twitter because now the crew has to deal with all that backlash for people going to their Instagrams, the crew putting their Instagrams on private, etc. Now Ethan goes on to say that he can no longer be Trisha's emotional punching bag, how she's able to say everything her heart desires and he feels like he has to walk on eggshells all the time. He says that she doesn't respect the fact that he has Tourette's and tokenizes on it. Like, he just talks about how he always has to be careful what he says to her, but she can never do the same. She can never show him that same respect. Now, at this part of Ethan's video, he starts really bringing up receipts of how she claimed to not agree to the costume ideas. I mean, here are text messages of her agreeing to the costume ideas. And when I watched Trisha's video, her response to this was, look, I really need to stop agreeing to all this stuff. Basically, she lied about being excited about the costume idea when she really wasn't. That's what she said. Now, this part of Ethan's video, he brings up the 5%. And I'm just going to read off real quick about this 5% that Trisha's arguing about. Here's what the 5% is being used for. Word from Ethan, the 5% is for the set, the space, use of equipment, employing people, editing. We get the sponsors, develop concepts, pay for insurance. I mean, he was just listing stuff, right? But that's what he says. Now, in Trisha's video, she states that Ethan also gets 100% of the highlights, and he does not mention that. Now, remember when I said to keep in mind about the contracts and shit? All of this wouldn't be what it is if there was a contract in place. Ethan says he has his CPA develop like a whole thing for Trisha monthly for her to read about everything, an itemized list. And Trisha says, no, that's not true. So I don't know who to believe. I just know I would have thought Ethan would have been someone to have a contract in place. So now, because Ethan doesn't have a contract with Trisha, this makes me feel a little bit doubtful of some of the things Ethan says, because I'm just like, why are you not smart enough for a contract? Like, I don't understand. Make it make sense. So now I just, you know. Now, to end Ethan's video, he brings up LA and how Trisha knew that the plan was always to move there. And Ethan says that he actually ended up spending like $30,000 just so they can continue to film at Ethan's house. And now I want to keep in mind, Trisha says that Ethan has always had that building. That was the Teddy Fresh building / H3 Productions building, how he has always had that. Trisha just felt like Ethan exaggerated all that frustration about her not wanting to shoot in downtown LA, because she was like, no, that building was already there anyways. Like, that was the Teddy Fresh building, like whatever. Ethan says how Trisha was ungrateful with the merch, how he fronted all the money up for the merch. Ethan says that he tried to include her, but she didn't want to keep receiving all these text messages. It came to a point where she was like, hey, stop texting me so much, you know? So overall, the summary for Ethan's video is that Trisha was basically ungrateful. He felt like he had to walk on eggshells, and how she just was really rude to the crew, and she wanted just to be a two-man show. She wanted to fire the crew, and he had to stand up for the crew. He had to say, no, this is not okay. And Ethan just couldn't continue to be walked on. So that was a summary of his video. All right, so now we get to Trisha's videos, and keep in mind, this is not going to be as bad as it looks. I'm going to summarize this really fast as I can. And each video, you kind of can see that she's repetitive, so I'm not going to repeat the same thing that I'm telling you. Feel me? So Trisha starts off the part one of just her anxiety. Like, I'm not going to be objective here because I feel like Trisha was definitely in the wrong. But then she starts off saying, like, Ethan is the clear-minded person, so I don't get why he even uploaded that frenemies video anyways. Keep in mind, Ethan texts Trisha or asks Trisha, hey, can I upload, you know, that video, that last frenemies video? And Trisha gave him the okay, but she's saying, look, you're the boss. You're the clear-minded one. Why would you listen to me? Why would you upload this? And I'm just like, I'm 50-50 with it. Trisha says that she actually did tell Ethan that she was quitting, but you know, I can see Ethan really not, because Trisha's like up and down. She says she's bipolar, all that jazz. So I could see Ethan not really believing her, but she claimed she told him 2 times. She was texting Ethan that the conversation was headed that way. So, because I didn't mention this in my summary of Ethan's video, but Ethan did state that Sam, who came up with that fan advice segment, she's such a huge fan of Trisha. So Trisha, she contradicts herself by mentioning in the very beginning of part 1 that, hey, you know what? I don't understand why Ethan would hire a fan, because that puts more pressure on me. I mean, she talks about it a little, but then goes back to, no, Ethan should have totally hired Sam. I'm like, which one is it? Should he have not hired her because, you know, she's such a fan of you and you're gonna feel like a failure the moment you mess up, all the pressure, or what? Anyways, Trisha goes on to say that Ethan did not need her permission to hire Sam, but it would have been nice to have a say. Trisha mentions that her sister would have been great, that her sister, who came up with the Hollywood tour bus idea, would have also been a great addition to the show. Now, Trisha says that she doesn't remember telling Ethan that she wanted the whole crew fired. And now we jump back to Sam a little bit. Trisha does mention that it was suggested to her, since Sam was such a huge fan of her, that maybe Sam could work for Trisha, but Trisha's like, I don't have anything going on. And she goes, guys, I would be a horrible boss. So she was like, no. So Trisha claims that she had no problem with Ethan hiring Sam, but she just really wanted a say on the matter. But get this, okay? 18 minutes and 48 seconds into part 1 video, Ethan's lies, and I'm telling you the timestamp so you can listen to this yourself. Trisha says she doesn't understand why there needed to be a crew for frenemies. She says that no, she didn't want to move to the downtown location, but says that she did want a building just for frenemies, just for Ethan and Trisha, that she didn't need the crew. There was no need for one, that it should have just been the two of them, a two-man show, okay? 18 minutes and 48 seconds into the video. There's the timestamp. So I don't understand where Trisha gets off by saying, oh no, I didn't want the crew fired, but then says this. Now here's the question no one is asking. If the crew did not work on frenemies anymore, will they get paid the same? Because to me, that really determines, that's firing, okay? Now, if these employees are salaried employees and they don't get any additional benefits from working for frenemies, I really wouldn't consider it as firing, because to me, that's like telling me, my boss say, okay, hey Blossom, instead of having 60 people on your caseload, we'll take one off for you. We'll just give you 59 people. Okay, I'm still getting paid the same. I just have 59 people on my caseload. Now, if that affects my pay, then yes, I consider that as firing. So the question remains, when the crew worked on frenemies, were they still getting some type of incentive in a way? Were they getting paid more a little bit? Now, if that answer is yes, then yes, Trisha, yes, you wanted them fired. Whether Trisha views it this way or not, if the crew is getting paid less because they are no longer working on frenemies because that's something that you don't want, then yes, that is termination, that is fired. That is less money coming into their pockets. So Trisha claims that she doesn't care about the money, but get this, because she's saying how this really should have been a two-man show, what she's saying is that Ethan wouldn't need to use, 5% extra of, the frenemies or 100% of the highlights onto production and the crew and all that stuff, because there would be none in Trisha's mind. So even though she goes on to say, no, it's not all about the money. No, guys, some of it is about the money. Now, Trisha's response to when Ethan says, hey, we took a risk, doing the show with Trisha, which is true, he did. But Trisha goes, that's why there should have been a contract, and the fact that there wasn't any. Like, I blame Ethan, but I also blame Trisha, because now she can use this as, guys, well, I didn't have a contract. And it's like, well, Trisha, you did 30 something, almost 40 episodes with no contract and there was no complaints. You know what I mean? You did them. So I think, I understand where Trisha's coming from, but at the same time, it's like, well, you also participated in a work relationship with no contract. Then Trisha goes on to say when Ethan was talking about a healthy work environment, and that's why he couldn't have Trisha, treating his employees how she was. Trisha goes, well, if you really wanted a healthy work environment, then you shouldn't have uploaded that video. Even though I told you you shouldn't have. Now, like I said, she's right, but it's just like Trisha to... It's like, can you take responsibility for something? You know what I mean? It's so annoying to me that she can sit there and make 4 movies about Ethan, but then Ethan can't sit and defend himself at all? Okay, so now towards the end of this video, 40 minutes and 33 seconds in, giving you the timestamp just so, because people love to tell me, oh my God, you're wrong. No, your girl took some notes here, but 40 minutes and 33 seconds in, Trisha is like, it's so hurtful for Ethan to be telling me about reminding me of all the hurtful things I said to Hila, calling them bad parents and blah, blah, blah. How dare he brings that up? He knows how I feel about that. You made 3 videos, not even like 4 videos, you know? That's what frustrates me with Trisha. Like, she needs to take a seat. Take a damn seat. Okay, how is it fair for you to make videos on someone, but Ethan can't say, well, look, I had to put up with you calling my wife a cunt. I had to put up with you telling us we're horrible parents.
Then why forgive me in the first place? Like, don't forgive me. Like, just end it there. You know what I mean? To bring this up and to just paint this bigger picture. She also did this. Remember, guys, she also did this. It's like, let me just bring up all your past, all the shitty things you've done to me and Moses in our beginning of our relationship. When you guys shitted on us on your podcast, there's a whole timeline of it. So like, bringing this up is just, it is a lot, because it's to me, it's unfair. You can't forgive me and then also keep bringing this up when you want to throw it in my face.
And then here goes Trisha contradicting herself. She brought up the fact that Ethan in episode 1 brought up the fact that she hit Moses and Moses didn't speak to her for months. And Trisha mentions, well, I was very uncomfortable when he did that. Moses and I were both uncomfortable and didn't want Ethan to air that, and he did. I'm like, Trisha, the same thing you're arguing about Ethan doing, you're doing the same thing. Why bring up what Ethan did? You know, it's just, she can't take criticism. She says she can, but she can't. She can't allow people to tell their side of the story. It's her way or no way. Now, Trisha ends part 1 responding to like Ethan saying, well, I've told Trisha that I hate it when she tokenizes on Tourette's. And Trisha goes, look, we've always made like these fat jokes, and, you know, I thought it was just fair game. Honestly, guys, watching that stuff, when I was like watching frenemies, I would always forward, because you notice how every single episode in the very beginning, Trisha would be like, oh yeah, so I'm so fat, or my arm looks fat, or I ate a lot this weekend. I just kind of forwards it all just because I just found it awkward. It was very passive aggressive. And it was like, are you mad that you're not losing? I don't know. I didn't really find it funny, because deep down inside, I knew she didn't find it really that funny, but she was, I don't know. Anyways, I would forward that stuff. Now, part 2, Trisha's video, she responds to when Ethan's like, look, Trisha, all she does is she come up with ideas, but that's the extent. She doesn't actually carry them out. Like, Ethan even made a joke, like Trisha would be like, hey, let's go to the moon, right? Okay, but how are we gonna get there? Like, now Trisha starts talking about the Hollywood bus tour and how she felt like, you know, Ethan was unprofessional, trying to bug or harass people on the street. Then Trisha starts to go on about how her second video was not in response to Ethan's text to her, how she actually turned off her phone. And Trisha even states that she actually does not mind doing Q&As, that she just was really frustrated. Ethan was gaslighting her, talking over her, so she actually doesn't mind doing like fan advice and Q&As. Trisha states that Ethan is a liar because he told her that she was not entitled to see where the frenemies money goes. Trisha states that she didn't even know about the whole membership fee thing and she was missing out on that, and Ethan mentioned it to her later on. I mean, this is just all dumb shit. Like, if there was a contract, none of this would be a thing. And I'm gonna stop repeating that, but okay, so now 17 minutes and 8 seconds into this video, Trisha wants to tell us how, you know, it's not about the money, she doesn't care about the money, but then proceeds to add up the last 3 months of what Ethan made from the highlights. So, and then Trisha's response to just throwing out private DMs, well, Ethan did it too. After you did it, he had to respond because you did it. You know, I mean, the girl could not... I'm not on Trisha's side with this, but they're both wrong. So now at this part of the video, Trisha tries to defend her Jewy comment, and she really can't. She basically sent a text message to Ethan when they were talking about, you know, how much each person would get for frenemies before the show even started. And, you know, Trisha texted Ethan, I'm being too Jewy, aka that probably meant she's being either too greedy or too cheap, whatever. Either way, it was extremely offensive and rude. Trisha apologizes for this and says that she has grown a lot since then and she's taking this very seriously. So take what you will with that. And guys, take a listen. Towards the end of her part 2 video, she tries to get on Ethan.
He's so
to produce
manipulative.
This is all money that we were paying up front out of our pockets and never even thought to ask her for money because I don't give a shit, right?
You don't give a shit, but you're bringing it up. But you're worried about it.
She drops the I'm quitting frenemies video.
She's like, guys, look, he says he doesn't care about money, but he's talking about it. When in reality, Trisha's doing the same damn thing. Like, the hypocrisy is through the damn roof. She ends part 2 by saying that she really just needs to take a break because she starts crying. Now we're in part 3. Now, part 3 is basically a rant of part 1 and 2, but she does mention about the merch, how she really tried to help with the merch, help with the location of the merch. Trisha also responds to when Ethan says, look, we didn't reach out to Trisha regarding a lot of ideas because Trisha said to stop texting her. And Trisha's response to that was, well, look, basically, you know, that was then, this is now. Now I have more creative ideas. And honestly, she didn't know how successful the show was going to be. Trisha calls Ethan a liar and manipulator, says that he also used like inappropriate language or behavior, treated her wrong while the show was filming, asking her if she had an STD while she was with Jason, all this jazz. I guess this could have all been resolved if they just would have sat down before the show. Hey, this is what's okay to talk about. This is what's not okay to talk about. Because right now, Trisha's just like nitpicking at stuff because she knows a part of her is wrong, but so far really has not admitted anything. She has not taken accountability for nothing. The only thing so far that she's taken accountability for throughout all these movies is apologizing for saying the word Jewy. Trisha even talks about how it would have been okay to come back in September, take a break and come back in September, but after watching all this, there's just no way. Then Trisha starts to mention how, you know, Ethan and the crew, they do put out lazy content, always repeating different topics on H3 and then bringing it over to frenemies, how, you know, the title pregnancy announcement, like they already put that on their other podcast, so why put it on frenemies, saying that the title was also triggering for her. Then at the end, it was kind of weird. She started saying things like, I brought Ethan a PlayStation, I brought like jelly donuts to Hanukkah, I you know what I mean, like it just was weird. Alright guys, and then the last video that she posted, this needs to be said, all this was a summary of everything. She wanted people to know that, look, I did not say I ever wanted the crew fired, but Trisha, you did. That's what you, I mean, she said it. I gave you guys a timestamp. She did, but she just doesn't realize it because her terminology of what firing is and Ethan is just two different things. Her terminology of what firing is and what you think, I'm sure, are two different things. So she really just wanted to address that. But then with this video, she leaves a lot of fans' TikToks in this video, right? And a lot of the fans are really defending Trisha, saying, you know, Ethan did gaslight Trisha. And that's true. Ethan did gaslight Trisha when she wanted to end the video. It was very uncomfortable to watch. And I've said this from day one. When I watched it, when Trisha said she wanted to end it, Ethan should have ended it. He was trying to provoke her. He wanted her to get up and he should have ended it. So I agree with Trisha with that. But that is the only thing I agree with Trisha about. Ethan and Trisha need to take a seat. Ethan is wrong because he should have had a contract from day one, okay? Automatic, 50% wrong. I do not give a damn how professional Ethan may seem. The very fact that you don't have something written up for a podcast that blew up is mind-blowing. I don't really care if he didn't know how successful this was going to be. At the end of the day, automatic wrong, okay? He's wrong for that. He needs to take a seat. Trisha needs to take a seat because she needs to sit down, listen to the criticism. Yes, Trisha, you wanted the crew fired. If the crew, now Trisha says the crew is salaried, but if the crew was earning any other incentives, it was getting any more money from working on frenemies, then yes, you wanted the crew fired. End of story. And you also say you wanted this to be a two-man show. So own it. It's okay. Own the shit. And the fact that Trisha wants to talk about professionalism, how about you don't throw people's DMs on Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, how about you want, like, oh, it's not about the money, it's not about money, but all you keep talking about is the money. I get that you wanted an input on the 5%, that she wanted, you know, an input on the 100% highlights that Ethan collects, but at the end of the day, getting on Twitter, creating a movie, 2 movies on YouTube is not the way to do it. Pick up the phone, talk to Ethan, talk to the person who you considered as family, and sort the shit out. That is my opinion. They both were wrong on this. They both need to sit their behinds down in the hot seat and figure it out offline. Sorry if I'm getting heated, but that's how I feel about this whole entire situation because Ethan was dead ass wrong, but so was Trisha. Hey guys, editing me. So it was brought to my attention that Moses put up a TikTok. Now in this TikTok, you can see the frenemies merch and It was really the comment also that got people's attention. I'll put it up on the screen while I read it. So a fan wrote, I mean, yeah, this is funny for sure, but like kind of upsetting at the same time that you're making a joke of this. Because, you know, you have the frenemies merch in the background and he's just, you know, rolling, I don't know, having fun with a TikTok. But then Moses wrote, joke of what? Two entertainers have a fight. We are not talking about world leaders here. Relax. They are just here to entertain you. Now, this could have been one of two things. It could have been, look, these people got into a fight, but they're really just here to entertain you with frenemies. Or it could be they're just here to entertain you, you know, with just everything, including the fight. So, you know, there's a lot that people are pulling from this. In my opinion, I think that this fight was definitely for sure for real. Now, did they make up behind the scenes and we don't know? I don't know. But I do think for sure that this fight started off like as a real thing for sure. Hey, so new day because Trisha Paytas decided she wanted to upload another video, and she uploaded this video because she felt like she needed to address some things. There's no ads in this, and it's because she's talking about sexual assault. She talks about how when her and Ethan went on this Disney trip, how Ethan mentioned a sexual assault situation with Trisha Paytas and someone else Ethan mentioned that to her mother, wanted to talk to Trisha's mother about this, and Trisha said it made her feel really uncomfortable. And honestly, I feel for people who have been sexually assaulted. I feel for people, like, this is not what this is about, because I'm trying to say all the right things so it doesn't come off sounding like I'm not being like sensitive enough, but I'm just gonna be honest with you. What it is that Trisha did not get the best response from a lot of viewers from all the movies that she put out. I mean, she didn't. Did you see the dislike? How many people dislike her videos? So to come on here to once again to try to paint a bad picture for Ethan, that's all this is. I mean, I'm sure she means every single thing that she's saying, but the motivation to film another video came, in my opinion, from the very fact that she could not take the fact that, look, Ethan is still being painted in a really great light. All the stuff he said about me, and he's still being painted in a very great light. Yes, Trisha, yes. And so I think she just couldn't take it, so she uploaded another video. And this is what everyone cannot stand about her. This is what I can't stand about her, and also the racist videos that she still has on her YouTube channel. But I really can't stand the fact that she just doesn't know when to shut up, take accountability, and apologize. It's so freaking simple.
Frenemies doesn't have employees. There's no contracts. They were H3 employees. Ethan told me that money from Frenemies would go in addition to what they were already getting. Then, as they should. I hope they did. I don't know. I don't know if they got paid extra. I hope they got paid extra for Frenemies. I hope they know now that that was what he told me at the beginning, was the 100% of highlights and the 5% go like in addition for their extra hard work on Frenemies. So they couldn't be fired. And what was just straight up triggering me by bringing up my sexual assault, bringing up my past as a prostitute and stuff like that, when I so clearly said I don't want to talk about it, the first things that come to mind obviously are talking to my mom about my sexual assault on a trip from Disneyland, a trip that my mom's sister and Moses had planned for my birthday, and then we did invite Ethan and Gila.
Trisha, she talks about, I told Ethan not to mention the Robin Williams situation, or I've been sexually assaulted even on the Frenemies show, and I would ask him and he would still mention it anyway. And I really need to start speaking up more for myself. I just felt like, he's done like so many bad things to me, and just trying to paint this narrative, and it's just like, he's supposed to be your family, right? So what you do is you don't decide you want to press the record button. What you do is you talk to your family. I kid you not, guys. This whole entire video was her complaining how she was mad about how Ethan talked to her mom about the incident at Disneyland. She was mad that Ethan would mention or asked her if she had an STD, on Frenemies. How she was mad how her skincare product was like sexualized. She was just this whole entire video was just her looking back and just saying, look, I was mad at Ethan for all of these things. and I just let it slide. She says in this video how she's not going to talk about sexual assault casually anymore, how it's just not okay to, because then it gave Ethan permission to bring it up anytime he wanted to. She really does her best. She tries everything to paint Ethan in a really bad picture in this video, and there is no way, like, Ethan has to address this because now she's talking about SA. There's a reason why she can't monetize this damn video. So now she I wouldn't be surprised if Ethan is not already has his crew or his team typing up something for him to say. What she's doing now, the person who's supposed to be her family, to get online to press the record button. And by the way, she ends this video saying, oh my gosh, my family's downstairs, so I have to go. No, you need to talk to your like whole family, because, you know, I start to even question, like, I feel bad for Moses. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's really it for this video. I kid you not, that was the gist of this video. She just wanted to paint Ethan in a bad light, saying how, you know, he was talking about all these he was talking about all these inappropriate topics that she was not okay with, and she should have addressed it then and there, and instead let it just go on. And it was just not okay, and Ethan was like very inappropriate. Basically, that was the gist of this video, and how she is relieved that frenemies is over, and how she'll find some peace and continue, I guess, doing what she does. Leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. I just got so heated, but leave a comment below, because I just think these two, it's such a hot mess. It's such a hot mess, and I think they could have both did better. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I will see you soon on the next video. Bye, guys.